A police officer on patrol is reported to have been attacked and burnt to death by protesters in southeastern Peru. This is the latest violence in the wake of President Pedro Castillo's removal from power, and it brings the death toll to 47 since Castillo's ouster last month. Well, the policeman's killing happened in a part of the country near the border with Bolivia, where support for Castillo remains strong. And only on Monday, 17 people were killed in that same area of the country as they took part in protests calling for immediate elections. Well, Castillo's successor was his former running mate, Dina Boluarte, and she now faces an inquiry regarding the authorities' handling of anti-government protests these last few weeks. Well, let's get more now, and we can speak to Amalendu Misra, who is a senior lecturer at Lancaster University. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about this region of Puno, which is a flashpoint region, and tell us what's been happening there these last few days.
Hi, good evening. Well, the region of Puno is on the borders of Lake Titicaca. It's in southeastern Peru, bordering Bolivia as well, and it has got a massive indigenous population who are native speakers of Quechua and Aymara. And there is a kind of cross-border solidarity between Bolivian indigenous communities and those in the Peruvian side. So traditionally, the region has been very close to the left-wing political process that was going on in Bolivia under the leadership of Evo Morales. So what we have had was a scenario where Peru also elected a left-leaning president by the name of Pedro Castillo that you have already mentioned. And he was ousted from power in December because the charges that he faced was that he was trying to dissolve the Congress and he was trying to govern the country by decree, which was not to the liking of the Congress, of course. But following his dismissal and his arrest, there has been a new government, and as your report suggested, his former running mate is the president, but that hasn't gone down very well with the indigenous communities or the rural communities who had elected Pedro Castillo in the first place. And they have been running very kind of agitated in the southeastern region in particular. But there is a kind of indigenous dimension to this argument. Peruvian politics has always remained deeply polarized and divided on the lines of class and ethnicity. So it was for the first time that, just like Bolivia under Evo Morales, Peru had elected a kind of indigenous leader, left-leaning on top of that, and he has been removed. And that hasn't gone down very well with the poor rural population who happen to be indigenous. So what we're witnessing is that we have a kind of elite that is trying to hold on to power, led by Dina Boluarte, and then those who are opposed to her trying to sort of undermine it. So it is two different groups trying to size up to each other, and the killing is the outcome of that.
Okay, and of course, Boluarte faces some pretty serious charges, doesn't she? Tell us a bit more about the inquiry that's probing President Boluarte right now. What are they looking at specifically?
Well, fortunately, the country has, the Attorney General's office has set up an inquiry, and the Ombudsman says that whatever has happened has taken place under the leadership of the country's Interior Minister, Defense Minister, and it is suggesting that the president might have something to do with it. So that is the reason why the president, the prime minister, the interior minister, as well as the defense minister are going to be inquired upon. And in the meantime, we have got the Inter-American Human Rights Commission, which has agreed to send a fact-finding mission. And United Nations also is suggesting that they are prepared to sort of reconcile between these two particular parties. But there is no doubt that excesses have taken place. Protesters have been killed indiscriminately. But having said that, the protesters also have been very much on the amok by taking over the airport, vandalizing properties, and burning one policeman, and also attacking the houses of several congressmen. So there are blames on both sides, but it lies heavily on the government side at the moment.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Amalendu Misra, a senior lecturer at Lancaster University in the UK. Thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you.